All right, so I'm looking at the plan for the Black History Month videos, and it feels like all we need to do is just run the Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech. We'll talk about Rosa Parks a little bit, get into segregation, and then we just mention that Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, and that's about it, right? That's all we need to do.
Well, I was thinking we could talk about capitalism and how it affected Black people.
Yeah. And what about Black stereotypes and cultural appropriation?
And we got to talk about hair, food, and music.
Ooh, and we should also talk about the 13th Amendment.
Yes. And we should mention how Black culture has affected pop culture.
Ooh, good call. And not to mention just Black excellence and Black pride in general.
Here's my thing. Like, we talk about Black excellence and Black pride, but how come we don't do like white excellence and white pride? And how come there's not like a white history month?
We'll get to that question, but first we need to talk about what is Black History Month. Well, Black History Month is a time we double our focus recognizing the central role of African Americans in U.S. history, also known as African American History Month. In 1926, Carter G. Woodson founded Negro History Week, which then became Black History Month. Woodson's message was that Blacks should be proud of their heritage and that other Americans should also understand it. Since 1976, every U.S. president has officially designated the month of February Black History Month. Other countries around the world, including Canada and the United Kingdom, also devote a month to celebrate Black History Month.
Okay, so we've been celebrating Black history for a long time, and other places celebrate Black history. But why do we need to celebrate Black history?
Well, Black History Month is an annual celebration of contributions and achievements by African Americans throughout U.S. history. It also highlights our struggles for freedom and equality. In 1975, President Ford issued a message urging all Americans to recognize the important contribution made to our nation's life and culture by Black citizens.
History is often written from the perspective of power. And as we know, white people have historically been the people in charge of our legislation, financial, and education systems.
Yeah, but all those white people probably worked really hard to get to those positions of power. What's the big deal about that?
You know who Thomas Edison is, right?
Yeah, I know Thomas Edison. He invented the light bulb in 1879.
Yes. But did you know about Lewis Lattimore?
Lewis who?
The light bulb itself was invented by Thomas Edison, but the invention used to create a longer lasting light bulb with a carbon filament came from African American inventor Lewis Lattimore. The light bulb we use today are more like the ones Lattimore invented than the ones Edison invented.
Whoa. I never learned about that.
Yeah, so that's exactly why we need to learn more about Black history. Throughout our time in education, most of the people we celebrate and the history we learn tend to be about white people, and often ignore the contributions of Black people.
So what else don't I know?
A lot. A lot of Black history is labeled as the struggle, but also as the triumphs. We don't talk about how the foods that slaves ate off have turned into staples of modern cuisines.
Yeah, or how some of the songs they sang turned into gospels and spirituals, which turned into blues and jazz, which then turned into R&B and rock and roll, and eventually reggae, hip-hop, and the music that a lot of us listen to today.
Come on, everybody knows that Elvis is the king of rock and roll. I mean, I'm in love, I'm all shook up, doo-doo-doo. Mm-hmm. Hey, yeah, hey, yeah. I mean, it's just one of the greatest songs ever written.
Well, that song was actually written by Otis Blackwell, a famous African-American songwriter from that time period, who also wrote songs for Jerry Lee Lewis.
And there are many black activists in our country who have made contributions to our country.
Yeah, but it was Abraham Lincoln who freed the slaves.
But have you heard of Reconstruction or Juneteenth?
I mean, I saw some people talking about it on Facebook last summer. I don't really know what they meant, though. I also didn't click on the article or any of the links or read any of the information either.
So, Reconstruction ended the remnants of the Confederacy and abolished slavery, making the newly freed slaves citizens with civil rights, but that didn't stop slavery. Juneteenth celebrates the day that the last slaves were freed on June 19, 1865, almost 2.5 years after Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation.
Man, that's a lot of stuff to fit into 28 days. Why'd they make Black History the shortest month?
It's not a 28-day thing. It's a history thing, just like everything else.
We should always celebrate Black history, and we're still making Black history.
I am Black History.
My name is Buddy, and I am Black History.
My name is Angel, and I am Black History.
My name is Brooklyn, and I am Black History.
My name is Jasmine, and I am Black History.
My name is Isaac, and I am Black History.
My name is Mateo, and I am Black History.
I'm Elizabeth, and I am Black History.
Mr. B here. I am Black History.
I'm Mr. Tate, and I am Black History.
Join on Black History, man!
I think I'm starting to understand, but I still feel like I got a long way to go.
Well, the first step is educating yourself and not being afraid to ask questions.
I guess I'm just worried that, I'm going to have more questions, but as a white person, what if I ask those questions and someone thinks I'm racist? What do I do?
We created Google form where you can ask questions and be curious anonymously. Mr. Dix and I will check in on it, connect with our BSU leaders, and get that information for our next lesson. The goal is to learn from each other, recognize different cultures, and celebrate diversity. Ask away.